Good morning, everyone. This is the doctor. It is May 1st, 2020, and it is a beautiful morning outside. I hope you're all getting ready for your weekend coming up here, and I hope you're able to survive your last day of work. We are going to be doing a review of Phoebe. That is not Phoebe from Friends, and we're going to be talking about why everyone in the game should be using Phoebe. You should even be using Phoebe if you are using Trailer Park Ayaka, you guys. Trailer Park Ayaka, as great as she is, you know, there are some things that only Phoebe can give. So, what makes Phoebe so special, and why am I telling you guys that you should all be using her? Well, let's talk about her TMR first. She does give a Chronal Cap, which gives HP 146, Defense 11, and Agility plus 5. This is powerful, you guys. With light attack resistance on top of that, the Engelberts out there, the Thancreds, the Ramzas, they're all going to be scared stiff. It is going to give her that little bit of an advantage that maybe she would need or another unit would need when they are coming up against these units. Her master ability is speed plus 20%, move plus 1, and she is going to be in desperate need of those. And her jobs are going to be Time Mage, Dragoon, and White Mage. Honestly, though, we can just throw that Dragoon out the window and just focus on her Time Mage and her White Mage abilities. Looking at her stats are really low with an HP capped at 1135, which is probably the lowest HP almost I've ever reviewed out of any unit. That is, of course, probably because she is an SR unit. Her movement is only 3, her jump 1, but she does get that +1 movement from her mastery ability. She has a very low attack, 61 attack in total when fully upgraded, a magic power of 110. You're not going to be utilizing that Dragoon sub at all in order to do physical damage. You're going to be subbing White Mage. Her agility comes in at 45, and just to give you some perspective, this is almost 10 less than Aileen. She does get 20% speed buff, right? So it is going to increase by about an additional 8, putting her at about 53. But in the end of the day, she is going to be a slower unit, and it's going to be one of those things that's going to hold her back in terms of being a Time Mage. There is one other thing to call out here, and that is that she gets an initial AP plus 2. Again, very important. AP, one of the most important stats in the game, and we'll be talking about her abilities next. Looking at her abilities, she has the classic Time Mage and White Mage kit, and one of her big boons is that she has access to slow and immobilize almost immediately. Some of her more powerful techniques, right? I've seen Trailer Park Ayaka immobilize units and then murder them, and there's actually been like 2v1 Ayaka videos I've seen where Ayaka just shreds with immobilize. And I know you guys are out there being like, nobody's fucking using immobilize. That's not true, and if you're not on the immobilize bandwagon, you should be. Immobilize has a 25% chance to proc with a CT of 160 starting, leading up to 360. It can be the difference in winning some games. She also gets access to slow, which has a 25% chance to inflict 20 to 50% slow, depending on your level, with a CT of 120 to 320. These are all very fast casting spells, you guys. She has access to haste, which is an increase to CT, a 28 to 42% increase in CT count, you guys, with a cast time of 360 when it's fully upgraded. That is crazy. Not only that, she also gets in her White Mage kit Full Life, which is a 50% chance to revive one unit to 100% HP. That's going to be one of her longer casting spells with a CT of 200 when it's maxed out. Full Life is one of those spells, though, that if you've ever seen Trailer Park Ayaka do her work with it when you're out there in the guild battles, you know that when you're in the middle of a guild battle and you're going in for that second battle and you're like, I'm going to take them, and then you just see the Full Life go off and you're just screwed. I mean, that's all there is to it. You're just screwed completely. So, something to think about there with that. Stop has a 25% chance to proc with a CT of 120 to 280, a little bit faster, but I don't think you're going to be using Stop very much with her. I think you're going to be focusing more on slow and haste and buffing your allies. Quicken, one of the most powerful abilities in the game, instantly grants a turn to one of your allies, so it gives that CT plus 100 with a cast time of 280 when it's fully maxed out. You guys, this technique is bonkers. Let's say that you just attack with your Sid. You've lined up your agility so that your turn order goes Sid and then it goes Phoebe. She's going to cast Quicken. Your Sid will instantly get another turn once it's done casting. And if you're fast enough or if you're slow enough, right? If you position your agility low enough that, you know, you're going to go after your opponent's turns, you may be able to send your Thunder God Sid or any other unit right into the middle of their forces and just destroy them. She also gets access to Protect, which is a 25% mitigation and a 320 cast time. Meteor, an 85x to 120x modifier with a cast time of 200 maxed out. I don't think you're going to be casting Meteor with her. She's much better with her survival kit. I would much rather cast Quicken and watch one of my other DPS just decimate, but you never know what's going to happen over the course of a battle, and Meteor could be one of those abilities that you are really going to need to make sure you have. Curata, of course, the White Mage kit. There's other cures in here. I just threw Curata on here because it's one of her bigger heals. 180 to 218x modifier with a cast time of 360. She is going to slide into that support position, and you should be utilizing her in that support position. Now, in terms of her passives, we do have some unfortunate news. She does have some Doom resistance. She does have some CT change resistance. Honestly, I'm not going to set that on her. She also has access to jump +1. I'm not going to set that either. This girl has such low HP that you need to either focus on two things with her. That is focusing on speed or focusing on survivability. And thankfully, there are two options in her passive kit that allow her to do that, with an HP of +15% for the HP up level 1, and then of course the speed cast for a 250 CT reduction on her casting speed. In terms of her counters, she has Dragon's Blade and Regenerator. Now, I think most of these counters are pretty basic, and I'm kind of finding out that every unit kind of has a special counter that procs more. So if you notice, her slow counter is a 30% to 50% activation, opposed to these other two that are 10 to 20 and 10 to 20. Now, I don't know if that's because there's a 50% chance to slow, so they essentially doubled the activation so that you get slow 100% of the time and it's less resisted. I don't know that, but if I were using her, I would definitely set slow counter, and it's going to be 10% to 30% if it lands. And the reason I'm not going to use Regenerator or Dragon's Blade is because I really don't think she's going to have that opportunity to survive and use those. If you're already in a situation where you are under attack, Regenerator and Dragon's Blade is not going to save you. A slow counter might be able to hinder a unit in a way before she acts again, or do something in some way so that the rest of your team actually has a chance of killing the unit that's on her. My main thought is if that there's a unit on her, your tank is either doing the wrong job, or you put her in a position where she's the only one left and she's going to die anyway. In terms of her resistances, she's 5% weak to everything. She has a weakness to silence, a resistance to charm, and you know, I can't see what that last one there is in the corner, but I do believe that is a debuff CT resistance, right? So that's going to be a resistance to slow and abilities like that. We do have 4 Espers that I would recommend. Siren for the agility. We need to focus on that agility. We need to buff her movement time, right? We need her to act faster. I would 100% recommend Siren. Behemoth, surprisingly, with his high agility, I would also recommend him. Behemoth. Oh my god, you guys, I just misgendered Behemoth. I would always recommend her. Behemoth is always there for us no matter what. I would also recommend Golem, because you're going to need that survivability, that defense, anything to keep her alive a little bit longer to give another buff to your team. Same with Iron Giant. Iron Giant is kind of the last resort, low agility, more HP, slash resistance. He's going to be that one that you want to place to edge her out. I would recommend putting Ifrit on this list, but I mean, honestly, you're probably going to be putting Ifrit if you have him on one of your other DPS to survive. So I think she's going to be like your secondary, right? She's not like Trailer Park Ayaka. She's not getting all the attention. Phoebe's that nerdy girl in there that is going to be in there to do a specific job. She's going to do it very well. And she's like a tactical tool, essentially, in your attack force. Finally, we have some cards here, and I've divided the cards up into 2 different sections, trying something new here. I have them divided up in terms of survivability and speed. There's 2 builds that I would recommend for her. One of them is focused on survivability, living, and the other one is focused on speed, which could also be considered living in some situations. So for survivability, I would recommend Golem for his HP, high stats, Shiva for her high evasion. If maybe you don't have 2 of those cards, some of the best survivability cards are actually rare cards. Leona's Castle and Wazette Castle, they both have very high defense and very high spirit stats. Leona's Castle a little bit better, edges out Wazette Castle, but still completely viable. In terms of speed, running through snowfields, if you have any Pierce Attack units on your team, gives Pierce Attack up and Agility Plus for the individual unit who has it equipped. Of course, the Will Beowulf card is going to have that Agility Plus for the party. Secret Orders is probably one of the best cards you can put on her, but really when you're putting Secret Orders on her, you're really saying I need you to move fucking fast, and I need you to get the job done, Phoebe, because she is going to be so much like paper. It's one of those situations where if you're putting that card on her, you are either going to be manually controlling her, or you're going to make sure she has, like, is able to stay the heck back, or she's able to do something where, you know, maybe you have Oath of Love on one of the other tanks in your party, so you have a reasonable chance that she's not going to be targeted, or something like that. I just said or something like that like 5 times, you guys. Finally, we have our Behemoth card with some Agility Plus on it. Going to balance things out pretty well here, and I think, you know, if you're using the Behemoth card, you might be a little bit more desperate for agility than you realize. But hey, there's a lot of new players out there, and I think this card could potentially be viable for anyone who's new to the game out there. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out today. I hope you're going to have a great rest of your Friday, and look forward to a lot of great videos coming this weekend. We are going to be streaming every single day up till Monday, and I can't wait to give you guys the Diggs cast later this week and have you guys watch the interview I'm doing and do all of that. So thank you so much for your support. Leave a comment in the comments section. Come check us out in the Diggs Cord. We are loving it, guys.